So hello all, I am here to chat about labels. So I have received an email from a client this morning and I had to share this little story with you. So I did a nutritional consult with her yesterday and she'd asked me about, at the end she's like, oh, by the way, I drink some orange juice in the mornings for my breakfast. And she's like, I've done it for a long time. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, why don't you look at that label and you tell me how much sugar is in your serving of orange juice before I tell you that you can and can't have it. So she sent me over an email this morning and was like, wow, I just discovered there was 23 grams of sugar in my 8 ounces of orange juice that I drink in the morning. So just to give you a little bit of tidbit, you might have heard me say this out there, but you should not consume more than 10 grams of sugar per serving of everything you consume. So if you're at Quick Trip and you pick up something and you look at the sugar label and you see that the sugar count is above 10 grams, even if it's 11 grams, put it back. That should be a rule across the board. A rule that you should live by for the rest of your life. If you don't learn anything else from me, from all these live feeds I'm doing, you should learn that sugar is one of the worst things you can consume on a regular basis. It leads to diabetes. It leads to a lot of fitness type related stuff we all don't want. On cancer, actually, I truly believe that sugar feeds cancer cells in your body. So that is one of my beliefs, but I want to go over labels today and how you read those. So speaking of sugar, I have some common household items here that I pulled from my refrigerator. So barbecue sauce, and I know that we talk about condiments and yada, 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 and things like that happened in Kansas City barbecue. But I will tell you that, let me see, 2 tablespoons. Has anyone ever measured 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce? If you have, you might have cried afterwards because it's nothing. But 2 tablespoons of this consumes 16 grams of sugar. So if you're going off of my rule of don't consume more than 10 grams per serving, this needs to go in the trash. However, I'm not going to throw it in the trash because my husband likes it. So we're going to keep this. So let's go on to another common household item, which would be ketchup. Ketchup isn't quite as bad as I would say barbecue sauce, but the ketchup is definitely has some sugar in it as well. Now, I do like ketchup quite a bit. I have found an organic brand that actually is pretty good as well, but you can also try something that has a little less sugar in it for ketchup. I just use a little bit on whatever I use. So this is something that's it's okay. For 1 tablespoon, it's got 4 grams of sugar in it, so it's a little bit better than the barbecue sauce. So those are condiments I wanted to go over with you. Let's go over milk. Everyone always says how important milk is and yada, yada, yada. So my argument, I'm not going to say for or against milk, but I want to educate you guys on what I feel like milk does to you and your body. But have you ever looked on the label of milk? And you probably have not. And have you ever measured 1 cup of milk? You probably have not, because if you have, you would probably cry again, because it's not very much, you milk drinkers out there. So for 1 cup of milk in this container I have, this jug I have, it's got 11 grams of sugar in it. So if you're going back to my recommendation of only consuming 10 grams of sugar or less per serving per item, you need to throw this in the trash. Again, I'm not going to do that because my family enjoys cereal and different things like that in the mornings, and I'm going to get to that here in a second. But so 1 cup of this has 11 grams of sugar. And it just has like 8 grams of protein. So that's good. And it does have some fat in it. So that's good. But if you're really trying to heat off some of that sugar, there's other alternatives like almond milks are fine. Or use a little bit less of this would be a great recommendation to you. So let's say you eat cereal in the mornings. So adults, I personally think, should stay away from a lot of cereals because they're carbohydrates. And as we age, we become intolerable to carbohydrates, like I've said before. Young ones, you guys can consume cereal. That's fine. My daughters are only 6 and they eat cereal all day. Well, not every day for breakfast. They eat a lot of eggs too. But at the grocery store, I make them read the labels. Yes, they're only 6, so they really can't read all that well. But I make them look for the word sugar. And if it's in the first 2 ingredients, they cannot have that cereal. So in our cupboards, there's Cheerios. As you can see, plain Cheerios, not the honey roasted nut Cheerios, whatever those are. And I will say, let me see here. 1 gram of sugar for, let me see, 1 cup of the Cheerios. So this would be a great option for you. Again, I'm reading the label and looking for sugar. Maybe I should have put sugars and label reading on my a subject today, but I really want to go over that. That is very, very important. So there's another organic brand from Target that I found that I really like, and it has also got only, let me see here, 9 grams of sugar in 1 cup. So, but it's under my rule of 10. So I allowed my girls to have this, and actually this is their cereal that they enjoy in the mornings as well. I don't let them have a lot of them, or try to limit their intake to a lot of the ones that have the dyes in it, a lot of the cereals, or have more than 10 grams of sugar in that as well. So that is something that I really, really do really try to hold true to on that end. So let's talk about also yogurt. This is a huge one for women. Oh, I eat yogurt and you know, whatever they think yogurt's so great for them. So in these packets of yogurt, again, my girls love yogurts. 1 packet, I do not eat this, by the way. 1 packet has 16 grams of sugar in it and 12 grams of protein. So if I was an adult, like myself, and I'm above the age of 30, and you're really trying to pay attention to sugar grams, you should not consume this, because again, if I'm going with my rule of 10 grams of serving, or 10 grams of sugar per serving or less, this has 16, so it's too many, so get rid of it. You can serve it to younger individuals, like my daughters. It's not gonna hurt them because they're so young, they're not intolerable to carbohydrates quite yet. They will later in life, because that happens to all of us. Our body just doesn't metabolize it like it used to. So yogurt's an okay option, but try to find ones that are less. Even this one says 40% less than regular sugar, 40% sugar, less sugar than regular yogurts. That's true, but what you have to remember that regular yogurts are packed full of sugar. So 40% less sounds fabulous and great, but it's still at 12 grams. So not bad, but you might be able to find a better option there. So something I really focus on the natural occurring sugars, the antioxidants. So I focus on blueberries in the morning. I focus on strawberries in the morning. These are staples at my house. I crack these open and have my daughters eat them. I will eat them out of the container as well. They're yummy. They're awesome. They're antioxidants. They're real food. They're not processed in a package. That's something I really try to focus on. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not running to Starbucks, and I'm not a freak about things. I just try to have things on hand that I know are healthy. And you know, I'm human, and my girls don't always eat perfect, nor do I, but I really try to watch my labels. The 10 grams of sugar, I really do go after, because I think there's a lot to, sugar causes so many things that we all don't want. So anyways, another label reading or something I know I always keep track of is I have veggies in my fridge. So I have asparagus, I have carrots in my refrigerator at all times. I usually have actually I have in my refrigerator right now, a ginormous, container of veggies, a veggie tray with a dip in the middle of it. So I pop that out when my girls get home from school, and I put it on the desk or on the island, and we all eat it. So I know I'm getting healthy nutrition, and they are as well, and they love it. Something else I do after school is I whip up one of our protein shakes. My daughters love protein shakes. I will fix this. I will throw in some blueberries on top of any of the flavors that we have out there. We have vanilla, we have chocolate, we have cupcake batter, we have Rocky Road, and we have chocolate. So we have fabulous flavors out there, and you can all add those into those flavors to give it a really good kick. I love the vanilla because I mix it with all sorts of different things. And of course, I always want a fat source with that as well, because I believe in a protein and a fat source at every meal. If your sugar counts are low enough, you need that fat in order to make you feel full, and it helps with the flavor on things as well. So hopefully this helps with labels. Just remember, when you're reading a label, no matter where you're at and no matter what you're eating, 10 grams of sugar or less per serving. I'm not saying throughout the day. If you wanted to think of it throughout the day, I would recommend most women, kids aren't in this group at all, and really men aren't as much either. Most women should not consume probably anywhere from 30 to 40 grams of sugar per day. So if you're drinking soda out there, crack open that can, look at the label. And please email me as to what you found out. Like my client this morning that drank her orange juice and found out there was 23 grams for an 8-ounce serving, and that's all she was having in the morning. So she was having 23 grams, almost half of what she should have had in her entire day. Sugar's found in almost everything, so it's hard to completely cut out, but really being aware and taking the ignorance out of eating, I think is really, really important to reading those labels. So hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, you can message me at twinfitness.com. My email is christiew@twinfitness.com, and I spell my name KRISTIEW @twinfitness.com. Feel free to email me with any questions you might have or suggestions on any other live feeds that you would like for me to talk about. I love to get suggestions and questions. So until next time, thank you all. Enjoy this beautiful weather.